What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another 1/6 scale DC Hot Toys figure unboxing. Yesterday we did Val Kilmer's Sonar Suit Batman and now we are doing his Robin from that same movie. This is MMS 594 where the Sonar Suit was MMS 593, so just one other figure, you know, definitely released right next to each other, so they're meant to stand on the shelf next to each other, so I figured these were both in my local comic book shop, Comically Speaking in Reading. Go check them out if you guys want to collect some Hot Toys figures and see what they got. They have comics and toys downstairs and all types of stuff. Tell them Big Cam sent you, they should take care of you. But this Robin here was right next to the other Batman, and I was just sitting there going, you know, I can't buy one without the other, right? Like, I gotta complete the set if I'm gonna buy them at all. And what is this guy's name? Christopher O'Donnell, or something like that, is the actor who plays Robin, and the likeness to him actually looks pretty damn good, you know, because it's just covering his eyes, so you still get that jar and the hair and, you know, like, much more of a head sculpt than, say, just a Batman cowl that only has his mouth and his eyeballs, you know? Like, that doesn't necessarily look like Val Kilmer. It does a pretty good job, but this really looks like Robin from that movie. But you can see Robin, the Batman Forever logo up top. It says Hot Toys Movie Masterpiece DC logo down the bottom. Robin on the side, legal information around the back. Nothing too much, nothing too crazy. Batman Forever up top. But let's slide off the top and see what this figure is looking like. Ooh, there is something to just the classic red green with the gold symbol and like just the Robin, signature Robin outfit, you know, like Adam West's Robin still looks pretty damn good too. Like, comment below, should I complete my Batman collection and get all of the Batman and go back and get Adam West Batman? And if I do, does that mean I need to go then back and watch the classic Batman TV series where Adam West was from? Like, I don't know if I've ever actually seen that. I'm too young for that. You know, my father wasn't like a big fan, so he never showed me that type of shit as a kid. So, you know, as an adult now, I might need to go do my due diligence as a big old Batman fan to go back and see the original Adam West Batman. You know, I heard that is quite funny show. And, you know, it's still Batman, so it's funny and it's cool. And, you know, the Robin in that show, Jinky's Batman, you know, like, Batman, is that a bomb? And he's like, I'm gonna have to get rid of this. Batman's just running through the street holding the bomb. Like, there's some really, really funny stuff from that show where, like, at least the clips I've seen. But just to pull this Robin out of the box, you can see a little bit of his, like, Robin symbol on the side there. There's a bit of, like, a you know, different color shaded Batman Forever logo on the back with the question mark. Yeah, not bad, but let's pop open this top and pull out this figure. Very interesting. Doesn't come with too many accessories, this Robin figure. It only comes with a couple swap out hands. It looks like one set of hands and then two other left hands. Very interesting, very weird at the same time. Like, why would they do something like that? But just removing the plastic and peeling this figure out of the box. Ooh, bit of a wired cape, is it? Or is it just, you know, the material it's made out of is feeling sticky? Maybe you could have it slightly wired, but I'm going to try and get this to sit as best as possible. Pull the plastic off his boots. Nothing really going on underneath. Yeah, not very many accessories at all, so it's really just the figure here. Yeah, to be honest, I think I like the Batman and Robin suit better, just the all black with the red, but this does give you that classic, you know, Robin outfit, you know. The likeness on the box, I think, looks a little bit better than in person, but it still looks pretty good. The collar on him, how it folds down just in front, looks pretty good. The cape, I'm not really loving how that sits, but maybe I can just, you know, maybe with some gravity and just time, having it out, it will sit a little bit better. But, you know, that's definitely more how you want to sit than, like, you know, flowing out back there. But, you know, I do like that the inside of the cape has a little bit of that Robin, you know, almost goldish color, you know, so it just distincts him and distinguishes him from the Batman very much so, you know, like he doesn't blend in and have the same exact costume as the other Batman, if you know what I mean. It does look like this figure, maybe when it was put in the box, the right gauntlet with the spikes on it looks like maybe it was pressed into something, so they're kind of a little bit bent. They are kind of, you know, soft plastic, so if you really wanted to get those sitting back exactly the way they were, I'm sure you could just heat up the edge and kind of you know, peel it back to where it once was. But you can just see on the other side, it's like perfectly straight, and the other side's like a little bit curved, like it's been pressed up into something maybe. But not too much of a difference that I think anybody that's not me would notice, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm glad I got this figure. I thought I would regret it with the other, you know, Batman and Robin figure on the way. But that's, you know, a newer figure, and it's also a different suit, so I don't regret it at all, especially because this figure doesn't come with nearly any accessories. I thought it would come with, you know, maybe a Robin Batarang type of thing, but no, it just comes with a couple swap out hands in his base, so not too much you can do with this Robin, but nevertheless, let's pull everything that this Robin from Batman Forever comes with, lay it out in front of me here on the table, and take a closer look at everything that Mr. Chris O'Donnell, I think is his name. Everything that Robin comes with. All right, we have the Boy Wonder Robin sitting here in front of us. Not too many accessories. Definitely should have came maybe with a 2-pack with the Batman Forever figure, Batman and this Robin, you know, kind of come together. But they are individual people and characters, so why not do individual unboxings? Although this one might be much shorter because it doesn't come with as many accessories. But I do really like the way that that figure looks, and we'll take a closer look at that in a second. But, you know, it does have the mask with the Robin logo. It's got the big R on his chest. It's got the classic red and green suit with the Batman, you know, look. But, yeah, very nice. It's got, like, this leather jacket, and you can see on the box, it looks like it sits maybe a little bit lower than it sits on the figure itself. I tried my best trying to get the center of that to sit lower to make it look like he has a little bit more of a neck, but I guess that's just how the cape likes to sit for this figure. But if you really wanted to, I think you could maybe put something there and like stick that hood down a little bit further so that, you know, you can pose the figure exactly how you want and have him look exactly the way you want. But he comes with 2 sets of fists on his hands already, and then he comes with 2 relaxed hands just for kind of like a relaxed pose. And then he comes with 2 left hands, one of them being one that looks like he can hold like a batarang or some sort, or maybe like a car key, like he's like, you know, chirping like a, where's my car? Chirp, chirp, you know, like that kind of thing. And then he's got just a regular palm open, you know, hand splayed out like he's about to, you know, block something, or maybe he's reaching out and he's throwing a punch with the other hand, like, you know, hockey style. He's reaching out with this hand to grab a little bit of jersey, and then the other right hand's coming in for a punch. But not too much, just comes with 4 extra hands plus the 2 hands that come on him. But might as well take a closer look at the figure himself and his base. The base you can see here is pretty much exactly the same as the Batman from the Batman Forever one. It has that Batman Forever logo in the middle with a little bit of that Riddler green around the question mark and in the center there. And then it's got a metal nameplate up front that says Robin. Once again, that plastic, if I peel that off right now, it'll be fine. But if I peel that off in the future, that will, might as well do it now. Oh yeah, it felt good. Nice and pristine and clean now. But now I can't put my fingers on that or I'll smudge it. I wasn't intending to do that at the moment, but that stickiness was very sticky on my finger. But let's take a closer look at that figure. All right, starting out with the Boy Wonder's boots. Same kind of thing as Batman. No, like, you know, ankle bend or side to side. One solid boot that you can just get, you know, a little bit of right to left on. His boot does seem a little bit thinner, and he does have a Robin logo on the actual boot itself, which is kind of cool. And I think that logo ends up becoming like his face mask for the Batman and Robin movie. I could be wrong, though. You can also see his kind of Robin logo on his belt buckle there. This figure looks like he's got a big old pecker, mostly because I think they built this like red portion as one thing and then did the legs as one thing and then the arms. Just because of the way that the colors made up, they might as well have done them in different sections. But yeah, not a bad looking figure. Very rubbery, you know, very, you know, squishy type of material. Definitely feels like maybe if you leave it in a crazy pose for a while, it could get damaged. Same kind of thing on the Batman figure. The belt moves, so you kind of just got to get it. Oh, hand fell off, but we'll fix that in a second. But you can see like the way that his belt can be pushed down, you know, to sit the way that you want it to sit. Cover up maybe that seam in the back there.
you know, so you don't have that crazy looking seam, so you can cover that up with the belt there. Not bad, little green tush. But you can see, like what I was saying, with the way that the spikes are supposed to sit and then the way that mine were in the box, it looks like they're kind of a little bit more bent on the top two. But if I really wanted to, I bet I could, you know, heat those up and get them sitting the way that they should be sitting. But it doesn't bother me that much. His hand just fell off though, so I'll have to put that back on. But the Robin logo, and poor Robin here does have the bat nipples, and it is what it is. But you can see his collar there. If this sat just a little bit lower and, you know, just sat giving him a little bit more of a neck, it looks a little bit better. But with it creeped up, I don't know. It feels like he's very new to Robin when it's up like that. When it's like down like that, it's like, yeah, this guy's his partner in crime. He's just starting. He's first day on the job. Partner in crime, first day on the job. First day on the job, partner in crime. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would look way better, but it is what it is. It sits a little higher than it should, but you're not going to be able to get these figures in too many crazy poses anyways. I also want to mention that the inside of his cape isn't quite the same yellow as like the belt, but I do like that it is a different color from the outside. Although his cape is made out of pleather, so I could have leather problems with that in the future. I kind of wish that this was made out of actual leather. But some people were saying that there is wires in the cape, so you can pose it some type of way. Although they don't feel like the sturdiest of wires to me. But I'm going to try my best to see what kind of poses we can get this guy into. Doesn't have rolling eyes, so, you know, not too much we're going to be able to do. But I'm going to try my best, and it's probably going to look more like museum poses. But I'm going to try and get into a couple different ones so that you can see what you could do for your display if you want to get this figure into a pose, or if you want to just have him standing there just chilling. All right, we have Robin, the boy wonder, Dick Grayson, spinning around on the turntable in front of us here with just a relaxed pose, standing straight up and down with relaxed hands. And then he has his double relaxed hands kind of around his hips or around his belt, kind of in the belt pose that they say to do with this figure with those hands. And then he's got double fist hands, and he's just got his fists up as if he's prepared to be in a fight. And then he's got one hand grabbing, reaching out like a hockey player to grab somebody's shirt and then punch him with the other hand. But he's got no crouch grabber for that pose. He's standing on his own. And then in the final pose, I have him standing back to back with Batman. And just really cool to have the Batman Forever figures with Batman and Robin side by side. You know, it would feel wrong to have one without the other. So I'm very glad I have both of them. And now you can just see the final pose that I'm probably going to leave this character in, with double fist hands, with just the fists on his hips. And I like this pose because of the way that the cape drapes off of his shoulders and down to like his elbows, and you can still see like his bat cowl, but you can see more of like the yellow cape, under cape type of thing, because his arms are splayed out and you can see more of the background. You know, it adds a little bit more contrast to the colors going on. But I really like this figure. I really like how he looks, and I can't wait to get the Batman and Robin black and red suit, because I think that look just looks so much more crispier and cleaner. But I believe that suit also has nipples, so you can't get away from that. But this red and green in the classic Robin R, you know, this suit just screams the OG Batman and Robin, and almost looks exactly like the Robin from Adam West's Batman. But comment below if you've ever seen Adam West's Batman, or who is your favorite Batman and who would be your favorite Robin, even though we haven't gotten a whole lot of them. Maybe if you're a fan of the show Titans, there was like a Dick Grayson Robin. You know, I mean, I think there was like 3 or 4 Robins on that show. But Chris O'Donnell here was my Robin growing up, and the first Robin I had seen on screen, but I definitely liked his black and red suit way more. But if you guys haven't seen Batman Forever, I highly recommend going and checking it out. Especially if you have kids, you know, for younger kids, this is definitely a movie for them. Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, you know, show those to your kids because they're goofy and they're, you know, funny and more campy, and there's, you know, big colorful heroes and villains. where the other ones are more serious films, where like the Batman Forever, Batman Robin are certainly like, as a kid, where I had my most toys from, you know, and growing up I had a bunch of Batman and Robin toys and didn't even realize that they were from that movie, you know, but I definitely had like Val Kilmer's Batman's Batmobile, and also like the animated Batman series. I had that Batmobile too, with the long hood, you know, and the gray and blue Batman's bat suit. But as far as live action goes, I now have Batman and Robin from Batman Forever. I will have Batman and Robin from Batman and Robin on its way eventually. I have Ben Affleck's Batman on its way in both of his suits, with the metal armored suit and the regular suit. So all I'm really down to now for Batman would be Val Kilmer's Batman, which the video for that came out yesterday, if you guys haven't checked that out. And really all I need now is Adam West's Batman. So comment below if I should complete the set and complete the collection of Batman, and comment below if I'm forgetting anybody. But why don't we do more of a figure comparison and toss this Robin next to his Batman from Batman Forever and see what he's looking like next to the Sonar Val Kilmer Batman suit. Now, the Sonar suit for Val Kilmer is definitely not my favorite Batman suit, but at least Val Kilmer was able to escape the bat nipples for this Sonar suit, and something about these two suits next to each other, they feel so right, you know, and it feels so right to have a Batman next to a Robin. And it really is such a shame that Christopher Nolan's Batman, Christian Bale, never got a Robin. Michael Keaton's Batman never got to be, you know, a Batman that had a Robin, even though this Val Kilmer Batman is technically supposed to be a continuation of that Michael Keaton Batman. But if you really know, you know, we distinguish them, the Tim Burton Batman, the Joel Schumacher Batman, the Christopher Nolan Batman, right? Like, we definitely don't consider them one like the other. You know, even the Superman, when it got to Superman Returns, that's supposed to be like a continuation of Christopher Reeve's Superman. Not necessarily the same as that guy, though, you know, like it's different, but it's similar, you know, same, but different, if you would. But Robin here with the classic Robin R in the bat suit next to him, I definitely will have these two paired up next to each other in the collection. And I think this is how they're going to look on the shelf. And because I don't have any other Batman or Robin figures, I think I'm not going to do any other figure comparisons for Robin here. But if you want to see that Sonar Val Kilmer Batman next to other Batman suits in my collection, those figure comparisons were in the Val Kilmer Batman unboxing video that came out yesterday. So go check that out if you haven't. But this has been a Robin 1/6 scale unboxing Hot Toys from Batman Forever. And I really do like both of these figures. I got them both from my local comic book shop in Reading, Mass, called Comically Speaking. Go in there, check them out. They don't have too crazy a selection of Hot Toys, but they have tons of comics and statues, and they have a whole room downstairs with Legos and all types of action figures and toys and all types of rare stuff. So go in there, check them out. If you do, tell them Big Cam sent you, and they should take care of you. But that's been another unboxing video for me. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you've made it this far in the video and you would like to follow my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And if you made it this far and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss next weekend's Hot Toy figure unboxings and you get the notifications when those videos come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. It really means the world to me that you made it this far in the video, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.